Welcome to Searching for Pixels. My guest today joined YouTube in July 2015, currently has 45.6 thousand subscribers at 4.2 million views in total. It is none other than Nyarly. How's it going, sir?
What's up? Pretty good.
Very nice. I was looking at your statistics. I always start off my videos like this kind of to give people an idea of the stats, and it's always a bit of fun. And I find a lot of the YouTubers don't look back at these statistics, or they don't look at them for quite a while, and they're always surprised to see how many views and subscribers they got. And I've noticed in one day you gained 300 subscribers and ticked up 100,000 views, which is very, very impressive. My first question for you, starting this off, is what started off your love of JRPGs? Because looking at your channel, I think it's pretty fair to say that you're a fan of the genre. What kind of started off your love affair with this type of game?
Well, I'm going to be honest, like growing up as a kid, I was playing like platformers on the GameCube, and then in middle school and high school, I was like a caffeine-addicted teenager that played nothing but Call of Duty. Yep. But then once, I think it was about ninth grade, that's when I started getting to anime, and I was also getting into visual novels. And then I discovered Persona 3, and after that, I guess that's kind of what kicked off my JRPG phase, because then I started getting into other JRPGs like Final Fantasy, then I started getting into some of the really obscure ones like Shadow Hearts. So, yeah.
Okay, and how old is ninth grade? Because I'm afraid that's a little bit different for my upbringing. Is that kind of like around 13, 14, something like that?
In America, it's I'm going into ninth grade, I was 14, and when you leave, it's 15. And I've never been held back, so...
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, pretty normal.
So you started off with Persona 3, and then did you kind of go back and play all the old Persona games as well? Because looking at your channel, Persona and Shin Megami Tensei, they're the big ones, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, actually, immediately after I played Persona 3, that's when I started playing Devil Survivor. Then I played Strange Journey. I didn't actually go back and play the other Personas until about a year later, with my second Persona game being Persona 2. Then I played Persona 4, then Persona 1, and then when it came out, I played Persona 5.
Okay, gotcha. When we do this, I'm probably going to do quite a lot of frantic Googling, because I'm quite enjoy JRPGs myself, but I'm no expert, so my knowledge is going to be a little bit limited. I have played 5. I very much enjoyed Persona 5, as somebody who has never played a Persona game before. What else did I play? I don't know if you've watched the Giant Bomb playthrough of Persona 4.
I've watched bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, that was always a big favorite of mine. So,
in fact, well, what I was going to say is the first time I was ever exposed to Persona, it was actually, I think it was like 2011 when I was into Call of Duty. I also watched Machinima, and then I saw two best friends play Persona 4, and then I'm like, oh, well, this game looks cool, but it was only on the PS2, and I only had a PS3 at the time, so I just went back to playing Call of Duty Black Ops.
So was your first experience with Persona 4 the golden version on the Vita?
Well, that was the first version I played. My first experience ever with Persona 4 Golden was actually the animation, because again, I started with Persona 3. It was right after it had been released on PS3 for digital download, but Persona 4 wasn't on there, and I didn't have a PS2, so I figured, okay, I might as well watch the animation then. And it was okay, but then I played the game and it was a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, it looks like a very fun game, but having watched the Giant Bomb endurance run several times, I think, over the years, I don't know if I can bring myself to play it, having watched it so many times. Although the PC version has been released not too long after recording this, so maybe it's worth picking up. Are you?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't played Persona 4 Golden, now with it on PC, there's no reason not to play it.
Oh yeah, is it worth it, even if you say I've seen so much of the original versions, it's still worth jumping into for the Golden? Because from my perspective, I don't really know how much the Golden adds to the game, you see.
Well, it's got better graphics. It has at its core, it's the same game, but it's got better graphics. There's new areas. It's got new mechanics like skill cards. You've got a new dungeon. You got the new character Marie, who a lot of people don't like, but I mean, I personally don't have much of a problem with her.
Okay.
But also like I watched Persona 4 the animation before I played Persona 4 Golden, and I still enjoyed it. So I don't personally think you would have a problem getting into it if you've already seen a playthrough.
Okay, I might give it a crack. Yes, because I also watched your video on Persona 5 Royal Edition, and is it so? Does Golden add a lot more compared to, say, the Royal Edition of Persona 5 in comparison?
Okay, well, I'm actually I don't really have a definitive answer, because like Royal, like, you know, when you're playing the vanilla game, it doesn't add as much content, but then like you get to the new semester and then you get the new dungeon and everything. So in that sense, it adds more, but like when you're just playing through the game, Persona 4 Golden adds more.
Oh, okay, I see. So the quality of life improvements and the changes they made throughout the whole experience are more impactful than, say, just Royal's Edition on the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha. And with these Persona games, where do you think Persona 6 may head in the next iteration? It's been a while, and I'm not too familiar with how staggered Atlas releases their games. I don't know if we're going to be waiting much longer, to be honest. But what do you expect coming out?
We will.
Will we? Okay.
Okay, because Persona 5, I remember I was watching the stream when Persona 5 was announced. It was like, I think it was like sometime in November 2013. They announced it for winter 2014, and we didn't get it until the last day of summer in 2016. That was in Japan. We had to wait another 7 months to get it in English.
Okay, so we could be waiting quite a long time. I absolutely love the style of Persona 5. You know, the Phantom Thief kind of stuff. I think even I bought a keychain with Morgana on it, but it broke, unfortunately.
Ouch.
I know, it's so good as well, but it's one of those cheap eBay ones, you know, from China or something. But
yeah,
I enjoyed it. Looking back at the first videos you were making, how have you noticed your channel developing over time, and what lessons have you kind of learned over the years from making these videos?
Well, when I started the channel, I was pretty much only doing podcasts, but then it was like about a year and a half ago when I actually started like writing scripts and editing my videos, and those turned out to be a lot more popular. So if I've learned anything, it's that hard work pays off.
Yeah, very solid advice. And you say you were writing those scripts around a year and a half ago. Was there a particular video that you did that moved your channel in that direction, that kind of really picked up in popularity, kind of like a turning point that you noticed?
Well, okay, it didn't, like, the first video like that I did, it was one of my Demons of SMT videos, which I haven't done in a long time, but I was basically like analyzing a demon, like its real life lore and stuff like that. So that was the first video in that style I did. But the first video I uploaded that I guess really took off, has Persona killed Shin Megami Tensei, which is a video I'm not all that proud of, but it was like it was what took my channel off the ground, because it was my first video to reach 50,000 views and 100,000 views, and now I think it's like my fourth or fifth most viewed video.
Yeah, it is a popular one. And what makes you say you weren't happy about that video?
I think it's just because I felt like I could have researched better. I mean, and I completely there was a Shin Megami Tensei mobile game that was released in 2018. I didn't talk about that mainly because I don't really like mobile games. I don't really like the whole concept of mobile games. But I mean, yeah, it was really just like I felt like I could have done research better.
And there are some videos that are very clear. You know, you've done loads of research on. My particular favorites on your channel, I really loved the ones where you looked at the portrayals of mythical characters and kind of religious aspects. So Satan and Lucifer and that kind of thing. I found that absolutely fascinating.
Yeah,
because it never really clicked for me, like taking those philosophical demons and monsters and putting them into the game. You know, I never really made that connection between religion and these video games. And they were very, very interesting. I don't know if you ever found evidence of, Jack Frost or something in philosophy in your research at all.
I haven't found anything, but then again, I haven't really looked.
Oh dear. And it was very, very cool. And do you plan on making any more of those types of videos where you research those mythical aspects and kind of dig into some more of those?
Yeah, actually, like lately I've been doing challenge runs, but once I've got one more planned, but once I'm done with those, I want to take a break from that and go back to doing like lore videos and stuff.
And were there any, in your research so far from the videos you've done, were there any really interesting facts or stories or something that you found out that you didn't expect to when researching this mythology?
Not really, because like most of the stuff I did research on, like I kind of already knew about, and that was what made me interested in doing those videos.
Yeah, I really look forward to seeing those, especially how they used Satan and Lucifer so interchangeably, you know, and how it relates.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. Speaking of what you're currently doing right now, what's your current project in the works? Are you able to talk about what you're currently working on?
Actually, well, I haven't really said much about it. I think I like mentioned it in the Discord chat once, but I'm actually planning to do a part 4 of SMT Nocturne No Buffs.
A part 4? I thought part 3 ended.
Yeah, well, okay, well, have you seen the video yet?
I believe I was watching it earlier. I may have got confused between that and a different one where you were doing the run on like hard and getting the devil ending, but the final boss was using an attack that you couldn't defend against.
Yeah, well, my original plan was for part 3 to be the last one, but then I had some people suggest that I grind all the way up to level 255 because, you know, damage scales with level. And at first I didn't think it was possible, but then like I saw clips of like the insane amounts of damage people were doing at that level, so I grinded all the way up to that level and I was able to beat them.
Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I look forward to seeing that one. Yeah, the challenge runs you do are really, really interesting. The types of videos that I really enjoy as well. I don't know if you saw the one where somebody completes Pokemon Red without taking any damage. That was one that
I haven't seen that, but I've seen others like Pokemon, like Pokemon something with only baby Pokemon, or Pokemon Platinum without catching any Pokemon.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, the stuff that people can get up to. And besides the one that you have planned for your next release, are there any other challenge runs that you have on the back burner, something that you're thinking of that you'd like to do?
Persona 4 Golden Izanagi only. I actually have already beat it. Like, I've got the footage and everything. I just need to record it and edit it together.
Okay. And how long does something like that take you to do? Like, it's a long JRPG, but that must take a very long time in those challenges.
Well, most of the time it's like, I mean these are long games, but most of the time it's with a game I've already like played, so I can just skip over most of the dialogue and stuff. So generally it takes like, I'd say it takes around 50 hours to beat the game, and then editing takes like a couple days of work.
Okay, then throw it all together.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And let's say you're doing a video of something like unknown Atlas games or ranked Persona games. What's kind of your creative process for starting those videos? So from concept of like, I would like to do a video about unknown Atlas games that people would do, what's kind of your step-by-step process for starting the idea and getting it out the door?
Well, usually like when I get an idea like that, it's when I play an Atlas game that I like, but I mean, not many people really talk about it. So like, but I can't do a video on just that game because like if I include the title of a game that nobody's ever heard of in a video, nobody's gonna watch it. But like a lot of people who play Persona 5, they know who Atlas is. So if I make a video that's like 4 underrated games from Atlas, then that video is gonna get views. So I guess it's really just I get a list of games that I want to talk about, like do briefly write like a few minute descriptions of them and why I like them, and then just, you know, record and edit it together and everything.
Okay, gotcha. And with these projects that you're working on, are you the type of person that would say have 5 ideas in your head and you do a little bit of number 1, a little bit of number 3, a lot of number 2, or would you like to have one single focus and just go for that one at a time?
It's do you mean like with these types of like obscure videos or whatever?
Just in general, so say, would you say you've got your challenge run coming up? Would you put all your energy into that challenge run, getting it done and out the door, or would you say work on that challenge run video, then the next day work a little bit on, say, a more obscure video like Atlas games, or do you just focus on one idea at one time?
Usually when it comes to like script writing, I'll like kind of juggle multiple projects at a time. But once I start recording and editing, then my goal becomes to get this video out as soon as I can.
Gotcha. And is YouTube your current day job?
Well, I mean, it's more of a part-time thing because I am taking classes, but yes, it is.
Oh, gotcha. And what are you studying right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Management information systems.
Cool. Is that part of the study abroad period you had in South Korea as well? Did you just study that?
Oh, okay. What happened with that was I don't know if you saw my announcement, but I got there. I was there for about a week and a half, and then it got canceled.
Oh no.
Yeah, so they sent me home, but pretty much the answer is like it's not like the program I was doing, it wasn't geared specifically for that major, but I was taking classes that would have counted towards it. So, yes.
And did they say why it was cancelled? Was it a recent thing? I didn't see the announcement, I'm afraid, so I'm a little in the dark on that one.
It was COVID-19.
Damn, man,
because
that sucks.
that was before it was over here, but it was also at the same time when it was at its peak in South Korea.
Mm. Oh man, that's really crappy. And,
yeah.
Is there opportunity to kind of do it again in a different aspect, like maybe later on as part of the degree? Can you defer it at all, or is it still a bit up in the air?
Okay, well, I did defer it to the fall, but then it got canceled again.
Oh, no.
This time on my school's end. So I guess now it's spring 2021.
Okay, but there's still a possibility spring 2021 you can.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be awesome. And do you speak Korean?
Not really. Like I tried using some programs to teach myself a little bit of Korean, but apparently they were bogus because I tried talking to people in Korean and they didn't understand me. So after that, I was just like, screw it. And then I got this app that would just like translate stuff for me.
Yeah, like you point like the camera at it and it'll appear the text, like the symbols they use will transfer to English. I think you can do that on Google.
Yeah,
I'm not quite sure if Google does.
Yeah.
That.
And I mean, like even if you're only an English speaker in Korea, like there's enough English to like kind of get your way around. But like a handful of shops, they had English speakers and they were pretty fluent. But like I guess it's like being an only native Spanish speaker in the United States.
Okay, that's an interesting analogy. Yeah. I see what you mean. And would that time have been spent in Seoul, or was there somewhere else you would have gone?
It was well, I mean, I did have plans to go to Tokyo and like also go to other parts of Korea. Like I also wanted to go to the DMZ, but for the short time I was there, I only had time to explore around in the city. Yeah,
it's a very fun city. I do enjoy how they kind of prop up restaurants at the side of the road, and you kind of go in and get little bottles of alcohol and eat meat with chopsticks, kind of stuff. It's great fun.
Yeah.
Because I went there myself for a holiday a few years ago.
It's great. I mean, like the second day I was there, I just took like an entire day to just walk around the city, and my feet were sore, and I checked the number of steps I took on my phone. I took 30,000.
Yeah, I think you do the same as me. Like I'll try to avoid public transport so I can see the city as much as possible and just walk everywhere. Usually I kind of pop in some headphones and listen to podcasts, like usually gaming podcasts actually, just for hours and hours and hours and walking around. So it's a very interesting country. And were there options to go to other countries? Like could you have gone to Japan if you wanted to, or was it only South Korea that was an option?
I mean, I was allowed to leave the country if I wanted to, but like we actually did have a field trip to Tokyo that was part of the program I was in, but it was only, it was only 3 days and it was like $750. I'm just like, I can just go by myself for like half that. So that's what I planned to do. But again, I didn't get the chance to.
Yeah, it's throwing everything into disarray, this whole COVID-19.
Though I'm glad I didn't sign up for that field trip, because the people that did pay for it didn't get refunds.
Oh God, yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Like my current day job is I work for a travel agency, an airline travel agency. And we have to deal with airline policies with stuff like them not giving refunds. So that's kind of thing I have to deal with all day, is like, this person's not giving a refund, this person's not giving a refund. And, you know, it sucks for the people. Like, imagine if you're in their shoes and you're not getting your money back for this, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be pretty salty too, but again, that's not something you have control over.
I know, yeah. I was actually in China in February when the whole COVID-19 situation hit. And I was there for Chinese New Year. And at the time, like, Chinese New Year was taking place where everything is shut anyway, plus COVID at the same time. So everything was completely dead. I managed to get out to Hong Kong the day before they closed the border to fly back to Canada. And I feel like I'm like a bad omen, because this COVID seemed to follow me around everywhere.
Yeah, same with me. I mean, my coworkers at home, they joked about how I brought the virus back here.
Oh God, exactly. And the knock-on effects are still taking place. Like right now, I'm living in Montreal in Canada, and my visa to stay here expires on August 22nd. And I have flights booked to go back to the UK on August 22nd. And I was looking at WestJet's website earlier today, and they've cancelled like all their international flights, mostly up until August the 4th. As of their current notice, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like, they just, in a couple of weeks or so, all flights up until September 1st, international, not happening. So
are they still making you like self-isolate for 2 weeks when you get there?
The UK, it's a bit strange with the UK right now. In the coming days, they're going to be announcing something called in their air corridors or travel corridors, where there's an agreement between the two countries and you don't have to self-isolate, but they haven't announced it. The EU did announce theirs, but that doesn't apply to the UK because we're not part of the Schengen area.
Okay.
So we'll see. If I do have to isolate, it's not a huge deal because I'll be back home anyway, because I can work remotely, thank God. But we'll see. I think Canada's got quite a low rate, but my worry is with the adjacency to the US, maybe they'll just tack on Canada as like, okay, anybody coming from Canada is a higher risk. So self-isolate if you do.
No, nobody wants anything to do with us right now.
Yeah. Looking at those graphs of COVID cases for America, it's they just rocketed up as soon as the lockdown ended. It's pretty intense. And whereabouts in the US are you based? Is it still pretty much on lockdown where you are right now?
Well, kind of. Like, some businesses are still closed. Most of them are open, but they have limited hours. But now they're like, I think it goes effective the day after tomorrow. I know it's sometime next week, but they're making you have to wear a mask whenever you go out.
Oh, so they're making that compulsory now. Okay,
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, it hasn't really been compulsory in many places except Asia, to be honest. Like most European countries, you can still walk around without a mask. Unless you take public transport, I think that's one thing they changed to say, okay, you're taking the bus, wear a mask. That kind of thing.
Yeah. And my school, like, at least right now, the plan is to still have in-person classes in the fall, but the semester is going to be shorter.
Ah, okay. Oh, so they might condense all the teaching down, so like same amount of stuff but shorter time frame.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, basically, what they're doing is they're starting like a week early, and then it goes up until Thanksgiving break, and after that, the classes are all online.
Oh, okay. I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And other things that you do as well. You often go to conventions, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Go to conventions. You sometimes cosplay as well. I take it all that stuff has been kind of cancelled for a while now too.
Pretty much. I mean, I was planning to go to like 4 or 5 different cons this year, and so far they've all been canceled, with the exception of NebraskaCon and Anime Week in Atlanta. Okay,
gotcha. And what's your experience of conventions? Personally, I don't have a huge amount of experience. I went to one gaming show in Birmingham in the UK quite a while ago. And it was, kind of walking around playing those games. But what's kind of your experience? And when you've been to a convention, has anybody recognized you before?
I haven't had anybody recognize me, like not anybody that I didn't know before. But like I've hosted panels at conventions. That's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, oh cool. So like people come up and ask you questions about stuff.
Yeah.
And are those questions kind of generally directed towards your YouTube channel, or is there kind of a setting for this panel? Like, are you there for a theme or a particular reason?
Yeah, usually it's like a theme. Like pretty much every panel I've done has been about Persona or Megami Tensei. I'll kind of like plug my channel in, but like I don't really do the panel specifically to promote my channel or anything like that.
Okay, it's just a bit of fun kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when you're doing your cosplaying, who do you usually dress up as? My fingers are at the ready to Google this as well. I guess I'm going to need a picture.
I've been Katsuya from Persona 2. I've been Tatsuya from Persona 2. I've been Maruki from Persona 5. I've been Byakuya from Danganronpa. Fuyuhiko from Danganronpa. And like I know I've done more. This is just off the top of my head because I haven't cosplayed I haven't actually like done a cosplay at a convention, in months.
Yeah, I bet you got like a whole bunch of school uniforms in your wardrobe ready to go. Altered.
Yeah, I do.
That's pretty interesting.
A lot of suits too.
Oh yeah. I think next time we should go as Morgana from Persona 5. That could be quite fun. Oh dear. Looking back at your videos, is there ever a video that you made that you thought would have received better reception, or maybe there was some feedback on it that changed your opinion about the content that you made for that video?
Actually, yes. I uploaded a review for Tokyo Mirage Sessions Encore for the Nintendo Switch, and basically my criticism of the game is that it was too hard because the bosses just kept one-shotting me. But then a bunch of people were like, "Oh, well, that's because you didn't do the extra content." So then I went back and did the extra content, and then that did change my opinion on the game a lot.
Okay, gotcha.
So basically what I did was I deleted the original video, I put it on my second channel, and I just did an updated review on my main channel.
Gotcha. Personally, I haven't played Shin Megami Tensei before. I'm kind of one of those people who've played a little bit of Persona. I know some of Atlas's work. As somebody who hasn't played Shin Megami Tensei, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, is there a game that you'd recommend that I start with? I don't have a 3DS, I don't have a Vita, I'm basically just a PC man. Is there any way that I can get involved in this with just a PC?
Well, how do you feel about emulating?
I'm okay with emulation.
Well, okay. Then in that case, I would suggest either Strange Journey Redux or Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS. Like, you can get Citra, it's a 3DS emulator, and I'm not entirely sure about Strange Journey Redux, but SMT4, it ran fine on my crap top, so I'm sure if you got like a good gaming PC, it'll run fine on that.
Gotcha. I can't imagine.
And I'd also say Devil Survivor Overclocked, even though that's not mainline.
Okay, gotcha. I can't imagine a 3DS emulator. That sounds tricky to play with, like without the touch controls. Does it work okay?
Yeah, I mean, well, the games I mentioned, they're not really heavy on the touchscreen controls, but you just use your mouse as you just click on the touch screen and it registers as a touch.
Oh, that's all right then. That's not too bad. And outside of Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and Atlas, what other series are you interested in? JRPGs obviously a big influence on you, and you're a big fan of them. But besides those kind of mainline games and JRPGs, what other things do you like to play?
I'm a big fan of Yakuza.
Oh, yeah,
I also like first person shooters. Like, I like Call of Duty. I like Halo. I like Battlefield. Let's see what else. I mean, to be perfectly honest, like ever since I got into Shin Megami Tensei, most of my gaming has been with that. But I mean, also, when I was a kid, I was into Sonic and Mario. Like, I still play the games every now and then, but I haven't played a new one in a long time.
Yeah, very nice.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so a couple shooters here and there. Right now I'm playing Battlefield 5. I don't know if you play that one very much, but EA and Origin, they had a subscription model, Origin Access, and I think for 1 year is something like $30 for a year, $25, like not expensive at all. So I kind of went for the 1 year thing and cancelled it straight away. But I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 5, and it's pretty enjoyable.
Nice.
Not sure where they're going to go with the next one, though. I hear rumors of Battlefield 3 remastered, but that seems very strange to me. I don't know why they do that.
I think I'd like to see Battlefield. I'd like to see Battlefield go back to the future, like 2142.
Oh yeah, okay, that could be fun. What about Bad Company? Did you ever play those?
Oh yeah, that was actually the first one I played, was Bad Company 2 on PS3.
Yeah, they were so good. That was my favorite. I'd say Bad Company 2. Probably.
Yeah. What kind of class did you use?
For Battlefield, I was a fan of. I forget the classes of Battlefield Bad Company, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong on these. But for Battlefield in general, I quite like support. Just laying down cover fire was something I was really interested in, and playing Battlefield 3 was the first time that cover fire actually felt useful, where you suppress the enemies and their screen is diminished, the visibility. It felt actually useful in some regard. Support, I would say, in general. One class I'm enjoying quite a lot right now in Battlefield 5 is Recon, but not for sniping. I'll usually get a trench carbine, sneak around the back of the base, put a spawn beacon like in between the two bases that are near the enemy's spawn location, and then just screw up their day from there. Nice. So I kind of do tactics that don't necessarily get me lots of points, but if I can sneak around the back of the base, bring all their fire to like the back objective, they send 10 guys that way, then my other team has a better chance of pushing through, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I would do in Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2. I'd use recon with a shotgun, and then I'd go to one of the positions, I'd put down a Mav or whatever Bad Company 2 had, and then I just camp there, and I just shoot I just blast anybody that came to the objective. One time I did it, and I joined mid-game, and I got like 28 kills.
Was it Bad Company, or was it Battlefield 3 where, I think this is correct, where a shotgun had like 100% accuracy or something ridiculous with a scope, and you could just snipe people from across the map with a shotgun?
That might have been Battlefield 3.
Yeah. That was so dumb. Like seeing people on the scoreboards like getting kills with shotguns from miles away.
Yeah.
It was so stupid. Oh, God. Another game that I played many, many years ago, and I like to ask people who play JRPGs if they've ever heard of this game. Have you ever played Orphan, Scion of Sorcery?
I have not.
Damn it. I'm hoping one day I'll ask that question and somebody will play it. I had... a few years ago, my I don't know if you'd be telling this, but my dad had a friend whose I think his company was going bankrupt, or he was going bankrupt in some way or something. So he gave his stuff to people to look after while the bank was like taking his things. So like he got his video game boxes, opened them up, took the disc out, sent the discs to his friends, closed them up, and left the boxes in his house. So when they took it away, they thought they had the games. They wouldn't. These people don't check to see if they have the games. They're just going to take stuff. And he gave me like a whole box of random JRPGs, and one of them was Orphan, Scion of Sorcery. And I've always wondered if anybody else has played that, but so far I've been out of luck. Oh dear. Coming up soon, we have the next generations of consoles. We got the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, Series S. I don't know. Are you going to be jumping into the next generation? Are you, head first, or are you not really interested in the consoles right now?
Not really. I mean, actually, I'm honestly thinking about just moving to just straight up PC gaming. Mm-hmm. Because right now I have a laptop. It's like a mid-end gaming laptop, but it plays most current games pretty well.
Yeah. What about 3DS, Switch, Vitas? Keep those on the back burner.
Yeah, well, I've still got my Vita and my Switch, even though I haven't used them in a while. I actually got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I've been playing a little bit of that. It's pretty fun. But other than that, my Switch, I pretty much use my Switch exclusively for Smash. Oh yeah, that was a very good game. I think I bought that. That's one of the few games that I bought day one was Smash on the Switch. Yeah. Well, in my school, we'd have tournaments. We'd have tournaments every week. It was like a club that we had, but of course we haven't been having that because virus. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately I had my Nintendo Switch stolen from me, which is a big shame.
I was out at work one day, and thankfully I had my laptop with me. And my friend messaged me saying someone broke into our house and
Oh, damn.
stole the Switch, stole my games. I had a Oculus Rift as well, VR headset. That was stolen. But luckily I still kept the controllers because I had them dangling on a wall on a hook, like off the wrist bracelet. But this guy like kind of kicked the door down, just grabbed what he could. So luckily I still had the controllers for my Rift S, which I sold online on Kijiji, which is kind of like Canadian eBay or something like that. And this guy bought them off me, and he sent me a message a couple hours later saying, "Oh, do these controllers come with an extra sensor? I can't get them to work." And I was like, "No extra sensor. It doesn't need one. The camera's in the headsets. With the Rift S, the cameras are in the headsets. You don't need a sensor." And he goes, "Oh, I've got a development kit too. How do I make it work on that?" I was like, "It doesn't work on that."
It's like, where'd you get a development kit from?
Yeah, if this guy's good enough, buys a development kit too, he should know enough to know these controllers don't work on it. Like that's not a consumer product. But yeah, he still bought them. I was like, no returns. It's not my fault.
Yeah. But like to further elaborate, what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably gonna get like one of the next gen consoles later down the road, but I'm not gonna be getting into them on launch day. And to be honest, like I've always been kind of a PlayStation / Nintendo guy, but now I'm leaning more towards Xbox. And the main reason I say that is because of backwards compatibility.
Have they announced backwards compatibility for the Xbox?
Basically what they said that the Xbox Series X, it's going to be backwards compatible with pretty much every game that the Xbox One is backwards compatible with now.
Okay. Oh, that's something at least. Because I think Sony's been very quiet on that front. They haven't announced anything in terms of backwards.
Well, they announced that it's going to be backwards compatible with like 1,000 PS4 games, but they haven't said anything about PS2 or PS3, which is what I really want, because then I'll be able to sell those consoles.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I think PS3 is the biggest issue they're going to have doing that, but I couldn't imagine them saying, "Okay, PS1, yeah, PS2, yeah, PS3, no,
okay, well,
PS4, yeah."
Okay, well, like, if it's just PS2, I'm okay with that, because, like, I can play PS1, PS3 games on the PS3, but PS2, I have to have, like, I have to have my PS2 hooked up, and, getting it hooked up to a modern TV is, like, a real pain in the ass. And then, if you can even get it hooked up, it looks like crap.
Yes.
So I have a 9-inch CRT in my room that I use just for my PS2.
Oh, that's impressive. Oh dear. So yeah, the consoles interest me as well. I won't get it on launch. I did buy a PS4 on launch, and I enjoyed that. But looking back at the announcement of the PS5, I don't even know what games are just on the PS5 that are going to be there at launch, because everything's going to be for the PlayStation 4 as well. I don't even know what was the point in buying one.
Well, Spider-Man Miles Morales is going to be exclusive to the PS5.
Ah, okay.
What else? Yeah, they weren't entirely clear. I mean, apparently Resident Evil 8 was planned to be a multi-gen, be on the PS4 and PS5, but now it's just going to be on the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Okay. I did like how in the presentation they did say designed for PlayStation 5, like how to get around the wording.
Yeah.
Like, sneaky.
Yeah.
Sneaky. With your channel as well, you've got YouTube, you've got Twitter and such. You also have a Ko-fi. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. How's that been treated?
Apparently it's just pronounced coffee, but I say Ko-fi.
Got it. 2 times and I got it wrong. Ko-fi. How's that been doing for you? And do you have any temptation to start a Patreon moving forward with your channel?
Well, I actually did think about starting a Patreon like before doing Ko-fi, but the reason I didn't go with that was because because YouTube is something I do part-time, so my schedule is all over the place. And when you do Patreon, basically, you're kind of like selling people a service, like you're selling your patrons a service. And also, I just didn't want to be gatekeeping any of my stuff behind. I didn't want to be gatekeeping any of my stuff behind a paywall, like for Patreon exclusive videos or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a subscription model, isn't it? You have to keep making stuff.
Yeah. It's because like what you're doing is you have a service and you're selling it. So, but if I ever get like in a situation where I can't upload for a while, that means I won't be able to provide people on Patreon with anything. And yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
With Ko-Fi, people can just leave me donations whenever they want, and I'll include them in the credits of my next video.
Awesome. Nyarly, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
It's been great fun, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully we can have a chat again soon.
Yep.
Thank you.